record it. So the exempt delay on the listing, if you check it, it just stands for the entirety of the exempt delay forms. The exempt delay form then identifies which exempt delay it's going to be in. Either that's exempt delay from the MLS for a certain amount of time, either or coming soon, which means it's going to be live in a limited capacity, or exempt completely from forever.
So that's the form. I don't know which box to check, or can I check 2 boxes?
On that form, I would check box coming soon with the date of December 3rd. Because the 21 days is how long it can be in coming soon status online. So even if you got the listing signed 2 or 3 weeks before that, we just can't start listing, or we can't start marketing as coming soon until it's in coming soon status, but you can be coming soon 21 days prior to the activation date.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so the way you sign it is we want to sign it now and get it in place, and then we can change, then we can market with 21 days prior.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I got the photographer booked for a virtual tour and the listing photos, and I have a termite guy going to give an estimate tomorrow.
Nice. Good evening, Miss Ann. Still rocking the amazing sunglasses that are shades of lightness. Not always sunglasses, they just look awesome. You're a muted friend.
Casey's supposed to join.
Huh?
Casey's supposed to join.
It's hard to get on. Get on with it. Good evening, Miss Jennifer. It looks like you're driving home from the works. You're unmuted, so you can talk, probably.
I am, yes, I'm driving, as always.
The problem with working at the auto mall and driving to Vail.
Yep. I don't know if you can see me, it's kind of dark.
I can see your face a little bit, but it's okay. We hear your pretty voice, and that's all that matters. Well, I know that you had some questions, so let's get them answered first.
Can I ask you later?
Yes, ma'am. You more than welcome can.
Okay.
I want to talk a little bit today about negotiations and stuff. We'd had some calls this week of people asking me, how do you work through different situations and stuff? And I want to kind of throw it out to you guys and see what kind of negotiation tactics you have, or what I can help walk you through, or what you can learn from each other. The whole point of the call on Thursday nights is to have you guys the ability to talk and converse amongst yourselves and learn from each other, but also guided mayhem, if you will. Allow you to get out of line, but keep you wrapped up together. Miss Cindy's in her car. It's all muted.
There we go. Did you ask me a question?
No, I just saying good morning. You said you're in your car.
Yes, I am. Well, gassing up right now. Did you say good morning? So.
Have you guys not noticed I always say good morning?
Well, I don't normally see you in the morning. I always miss this call.
I always miss this call. I miss it on Monday nights and Tuesday nights and Wednesday nights. I just miss you guys.
Hey, quick question.
Slow answer.
So on the selling side, if they're doing the appraisal, I'm not supposed to be there, correct?
You don't want to be.
I just want to make sure. I just got a call today. I wasn't expecting the appraisal so soon, but I guess she had a cancellation, and she's going there tomorrow.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
As an agent, you should know that the appraisers are actually affiliates of the MLS. So they're agent affiliates like we are. We pay for the affiliation. So they have MLS access and the lockbox access. So they don't need any realtor representation to be there to do it. And sometimes the appraisers kind of like it that way. They don't want the agents to be there.
Got it. Okay. I kind of was wondering about that. So
yeah. I try to advise my clients not to be there, just because I have had clients say something that was just dumb. And the appraiser's like, I would have never caught that. They didn't say anything.
Oops, hold on. My car is going to take over just a second.
Good.
There we go. Okay. So yeah, well, unfortunately, she says she's been working with COVID that clients are there, you know, because I said, well, let me talk to my client because he does work from home, and so she's like, oh yeah, sure, no problem. So
Yeah, it's not a bad idea to have, if you can, give her some space, give her some time away from the house. But definitely make sure you put your comps and stuff out there to justify your price for a little booklet for them to have. Comp booklet, any upgrades, any improvements, any repairs, anything that was done in the house recently that would be something of value that you can show that has been done. It's important
Right.
to, you know, showcase that. So.
okay, yeah, okay, because she said she hasn't run comps yet, that she was gonna run comps after.
Yeah, the process on most appraisals is they're going to come out, they get scheduled, they put it on they put it on the calendar, they reach out to the listing agent, make sure that there's access to the property.
Mhm.
Can we go in? Are there animals? Is there a lockbox on the house? These are all things that they want to know. Then they go in the house. They typically do a site survey, so they walk the outside, measure the outside. That's how they get your square footage. They measure the outside. Then they go inside the house and look for finishes, upgrades, and issues of concern, items of concern.
Okay.
Then they go run the comps, run the reports, and everything like that. Very rarely do they have all of that done prior to stepping in the house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because they want to make sure that they're comping it correctly. They've looked at the pictures. They've looked at the MLS input
Yeah.
to get a generalized idea of what the house looks like. They're just not going to be basing their entire decision off of that. They want to go put eyes and hands and verify what's in MLS and then verify that the build out is the build out. So we've all seen the house on MLS that looked amazing on pictures. It was awesome. It had 4 bedrooms, 2 baths. The bedrooms were, 8 by 8s or smaller. Yeah.
Oh,
So that's the process.
Okay, so then should I, because it's such short notice, so should I send the MLS properties that we comped at, use for comps to my clients so they can print it out and they can place this out there for her to look at?
If they'll be willing to do that, absolutely.
Okay. I mean, yeah, she'll do it just to show. So do they compare like per square foot and all that too? Like
per square foot is one of the least used forms of appraisal.
Uh-huh.
And it's because every house is different.
Yeah.
Location. We go back to the analogy that we talked about. 2 houses, one's on a hill with a great view. The next one's next to a septic facility. They're the identical square footage. Which one's worth more?
Okay. All right.
Yeah. I would like you guys to all remember that square footage is not the best way. Well, the house down the street sold for $169. It's 300 square feet less than mine, so my house has got to be at least, $30,000 more in value.
Right.
You may find that bigger homes sell for a lower price per square foot.
Yeah.
Because of location, amenities, finishes, stuff like that. And some sellers don't understand that. Like, well, the house down the street sold for $117 a square foot. Why is mine $112?
Right. Even ours is even less than that. So, I mean, the difference. So,
and you'll also find out, this is a good kind of segue topic, is when you're looking at homes that are smaller square footage, look at what they call functional layout. A lot of square footage in larger homes is taken up by dead space.
Oh, okay.
Large closets, weirdly laid out rooms, landings. I mean, 2-story houses, you got 200 to 300 square foot in just the stairs alone.
Oh,
Some
wow.
houses, because of the landing and the turns and stuff like that. So
yeah.
Keep in mind that that's why square footage is not dollar for dollar, size for size.
Okay. All right. Yeah, this one compared to the ones that we comped at this was a bigger home because it actually had a living room that the other ones didn't have, and a 4th bedroom that one of them didn't have.
but all within the same area. Okay.
If there's a functional improvement or a functional size that helps out, absolutely. We can utilize that in some capacity. Just to say, hey, it's bigger, it's got more square footage, it's a nicer looking home. Let's move from there. So
I have a client who is an appraiser. And so I call him when I get in situations and he says, I don't care about square footage, Ann. I want to know, show me another house that's similar to that and we'll go from there. I don't want to know the square footage. And he's from Colorado, just moved to Arizona. He says, he said it blows his mind. They don't use square footage, period, in Colorado.
the only thing we need square footage for here is a guide. We want to
Yeah,
look at
so what do you do if you have if you don't have any comparables except for square footage?
how do you mean?
So if, let's say that the house you're doing is completely updated and there's no others in the neighborhood that are updated but one, but the square footage is less.
Well, you're looking at that point, we're looking functional. Bedrooms, bathrooms, livable square footage is going to come into factor, but your upgrading is going to be one of the improvements made upon the house. And that's why it's very easy to over improve on a house per neighborhood, because you have to justify value against the others in the neighborhood. So if you have a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, and I think that's what you're talking about, is a house about that, and there's 5 of them in the neighborhood, but yours is the only one with gold countertops and a bidet and a chimpanzee garage in the back, anything, all upgraded. Unfortunately, that doesn't add as much value as you'd want it to, because they have to base it on the other 4 houses, which are very vanilla, laminate countertops.
Yeah, no, I don't have one in particular. I haven't had many lately that I've had good comparables with.
Yeah, and it's tough to do that. And
like, how much do you value a 3rd bedroom versus a 4th bedroom versus a 3rd bedroom? How do you determine that?
$20,000 to $30,000.
Do you keep track of do you ever have a copy of an appraisal from a past sale that you can use as a guide?
I haven't had enough sales to do that, so no.
Well, maybe someone could give you a redacted one. I could. Well, our area is not the same, but
I mean, I've had houses in way too many areas to consider that. Like, that's not an option. Like, I've had Southeast, I've had Sarita.
But a bedroom is still a bedroom.
I've had Red Rock, yeah, but depending on where you're at, the value is different. Like in the foothills, a 3rd or 4th bedroom is worth way more than it is in Red Rock.
Yeah, it goes back to location. So
yeah, exactly.
I got you, Cindy.
I've had a few that I've had trouble getting great comps with, but you also have to consider what the appraiser is going to use. So, and from what I have, from my experience, the ones that we've done comps with, they have compared square footage. That's why I find that interesting that they're not using it.
Yeah, you look at square footage, and what the guide on Arizona appraisals is 150 each direction. So they'll look at a comparable house. It's 150 each direction. If they can't find a house that's comparable within that range, they will do one of 2 things. They'll make an exception, go for houses that are larger with the same functional layout, with the same functional yield, or they'll extend search radius. It's actually rare for them to extend search radius beyond your typical half mile, 1 mile, because in rural areas, they can go up to 8 miles.
Wait, so what did you mean 150 square foot?
So if it's a 2,000 square foot house, they'll go to 2,150 or 1,850.
Oh yeah, I've done that.
In your typical range. Because the 150, like I said, that 150, 200 feet is a hallway or a staircase or something.
Yeah, I normally account for that anyways. I've had more than one that we haven't had anything comparable on within a quarter-mile radius. So
what you can do with that, you can extend your range. Like I said, it's 3 miles urban, 8 miles rural.
Yeah, and I've extended before, and I ran into some of this when I was putting an offer in for my aunt on a house too. There was only 3 within the neighborhood that had been sold for a year within a 1.5 mile radius. Right. But it was completely updated. So
another thing you can do is look for like neighborhoods in other locations. Like we did some houses in Silverbell Reserve, Ina and Silverbell, 1/2 acre to 1 acre lots. gated community right there at Ina and Silverbell. The
Mhm.
closest neighborhood that was similar to it is Dove Mountain,
Okay.
15 miles away.
Yeah, this one was southeast, so
Yeah.
I don't know what I would have compared it to.
If it's new build, southeast,
Not new build.
not new build.
Nope, it was built in the 80s.
Okay.
Late 80s, 89, I think, 88. But
There's a couple communities like you can, in those situations, you can go out further in like neighborhoods, and you can justify. You could argue that with appraiser and say, hey, this area. It's very similar to this neighborhood in the same economic districts. And evaluate, because if you can't find one that's identical, but the problem is a lot of agents.
yeah, I guess I don't know what comparable neighborhoods would be to the one that I was in.
Okay, that's what we're here. Ask questions or
Yeah.
And then if you ever get stuck like that, myself or the broker team can help you find a neighborhood or help you rerun comps on something that give you a little bit more understanding of the value with the improvements, but also we have to hedge out the possibility of it being over improved. Like there's a house Tyler Gotti actually has out in Saurita that's on sale for $350 right now, that the guy wants to sell at $500,000 because of his upgrades. It's not going to ever rate that high, but he put way too much money into it. I sold a house up in Ore Valley that was on the hill, mountain views, panoramic views. They put $100,000 into the remodel, sold it for $380. It appraised at $330. Exactly, Cindy. Wow. Because, and these are conversations I've had with agents up front. It's like, your house isn't going to appraise. What's going to happen then? Oh, we'll deal with it during the appraisals. Like, your house isn't going to appraise. And they did. They stroked the check for the rest of it because they wanted the house that bad.
Yeah, we got beat out by cash twice on 2 homes in the same neighborhood. So, and these are $340,000 homes. So.
Again, to us, $350,000, $400,000 homes are kind of the upper end of our areas.
Yeah, but they're still going to be
an entry level house in some of these markets that are selling right now. What's a loft apartment in New York going for right now? $500,000, $750,000, $1 million. That's a loft.
That's
no
like
bedroom.
A studio.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My house that I bought here on the north side would be $1.5 million, $2 million in California with no HOA, neighborhood, and a pool. I bought this thing for $250,000.
Yep.
But that's the thing, is that entry level market that we know of, that 180, 250, that big range there, is the 400, 600 range in some of these places. So when they sell that first time or second time home and they're looking to get out of the craziness and move to Tucson, it's got a great market. We're stable. We're awesome. We have all kinds of things going for us. They're throwing cash at things that are like, you mean I said a house with rats and I can buy a house in Ore Valley cash?
Yeah. The first one we lost was $420,000. The second one we lost was $340,000.
Did you win the third one though?
No, but I'm still moving out. So I think once we get her house listed, it'll be way easier, but she's very reluctant to list, but that's a whole completely different conversation. So
that goes into the negotiating points of how can we negotiate with our clients to
no, we actually, the second one, the one that was at $340,000, we had it up until an hour before their deadline. And somebody came with a cash offer minutes before the deadline and we lost. So our offer was better than 3 others still, but no contingencies on the cash offer. So that was rough.
The one thing that's pissing me off more is the cash buyers that are coming in and just throwing money at things. I love it because if there's no appraisal contingency, what they're doing is they're actually increasing the market value in that neighborhood because now there's no appraisal to back it down. For those of you who've had some deals lately, if you have not had an appraisal issue, you're like, whoa, what happened? We're good. We're all expecting to see fightings on the appraisals. I mean, hell, Robin and I we have a deal together. We're working on that. The house, like the comps show 225, 227, and the house is immaculate. It is the prettiest house in a 2-mile radius. But because everything else in the neighborhood is absolute garbage, they came back and said, your house is worth 220. And we're talking everything is updated and perfect. It's the biggest yard in the neighborhood on a corner lot, fully updated, tile everything, thick granite countertops. So this dude put some money into it. But because the neighborhood justifies the value, it's not the standalone. There are some wiggles and pushes, but the appraiser is going to give you $5,000, maybe $7,000 over the next appraisal if you can justify that value in turn. That's why we need to have our negotiating pants on up front and talk about what happens when, that's the line, what happens when it does not appraise. We need to get the word if out. If allows your brain to think the best case scenario. What happens if it doesn't appraise? We're thinking, well, it's going to appraise. I don't have to worry about it. But when you ask somebody, and what happens when it doesn't appraise? There is no thought pattern around it not appraising. That's the thought pattern. We haven't created the out for the brain. What happens when it doesn't appraise? What happens when the roof doesn't pass inspection? What happens when we need to, these are conversations we need to talk to our sellers and our buyers. What happens, Mike, if it doesn't appraise? These are serious, and let them answer. Stop and let them answer. And this is where we need to start negotiating is, okay, are you willing, as a buyer, are you willing to pay extra out of pocket to make this deal happen?
I've had it
I don't
happen
want
both
to pay more than
seller
the
and buyer.
house is worth.
Sorry,
I've
go
got
ahead.
2 people at once. Go ahead, Miss Ann. You had it happen twice?
No, well, more than twice, but both with the buyer and the seller. I've had both scenarios. So you have a real conversation, and my appraiser friend, his house did not appraise, but he didn't agree with the appraiser. So they did another appraisal, and it came up a little, but my appraiser client said, I absolutely am coming to the table with $15,000 because this house should appraise for at least this. So I got very fortunate because he had the money to come to the table, but not everybody does.
Most people don't.
Yeah.
Welcome to Tucson. We're the land of the down payment assistance. And we got lucky that our client, Robin, and I happen to be, is one of my friends' moms, and you know how I give my business away because I can't. Is putting, I think, what, $40,000 down, something ridiculous, and we just reallocated some of that. Like the lenders, like, know what, make the deal. This we'll make it work. And the seller
But
was
she
okay.
was concerned. She did not want to pay more than the house was worth.
Yeah. And it was that conversation that this house, even though it's appraising at this same situation, and it should appraise for more. But that's the one downside of our business right now is we cannot control the appraisers. Hell, I've seen so many appraisals that are just screwing things up because they're not really looking. They're just, like I call it, pencil whipping the appraisal because they've got to do so many of them. Then why would I do the whole thing? I got to do 6 of them today. I make $200 per appraisal. Why would I take my time and do it right? So, what are you making, Amber?
Chicken.
Kicking? So,
Barbecue chicken.
and we're having chicken fajitas or enchiladas. Chicken enchiladas. So,
But what I've noticed lately is back on the market. I don't know, unless you call every property that's been back on the market, but since last year, I didn't really recognize a whole lot of back on market like I am right now.
no, we had the scripts call last Wednesday or the Wednesday prior, where James has said him and his teammates have never sold houses so many times. That being said, is we've got, it goes under contract and 3 days later they cancel it. So it's back under contract, or it's back on the market. You got to sell it again. And that's becoming more and more prevalent in the market because we're seeing California buyers or New York buyers coming in telling their agents, go put an offer on this house. I want this house, cash offer, sight unseen. 3 days into the inspection period, they cancel the deal because the wife hates it. I have that too. I have an investor that this is the weirdest situation. Saturday or Sunday called me up, said, put an offer on this house. We want to buy it. We just drove by it. We want to buy it. Okay, great. Today or last night, she texted me. She says, oh, cancel the deal. We can't get the permit on this space. Okay. So I sent off the bidder to cancel it. The agent calls me and says, no, we have a permit. We have proof. I was like, well, we've looked in the Pima County. There is nothing there. And she's like, well, we've got the proof. Send it over to me. I sent it to my buyers. They were okay, good. And then they uncanceled the deal. I was like, you got to write a new offer. Like, we start over. So not only did we have to sell the house again, but we're selling the house again to the same people. It's because people are making rash decisions quickly about it. And it's unfortunate, but that's how it is. So, but I really want to kind of talk about some negotiating tactics you guys can utilize to help you win success. And this actually started with a phone call I had with Amber earlier. She was telling me that she got some clients that are, die hard on buying a house in an upper 200 price range. But they keep going, well, that house doesn't have a refrigerator. Well, there's a lot of flippers out there that are buying houses super cheap or buying them at the auction and putting bare bones work into flipping the house. Paint lipstick on a pig. We've seen that. But they're not going to buy a new refrigerator. They're not going to buy washer and dryers to put in these houses. So Amber's clients they're looking at houses and they're like, no, we're not going to buy a house that doesn't have a fridge in it. Did you guys know that you can put that on the offer? That the seller will buy a fridge? Just like we stack our closing costs. If you need $5,000 in closing costs, add $5,000 to sales price. Offer a little bit more and ask the sellers to buy a fridge.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am.
So I have a house under contract that the seller was going to give $2,000 carpet allowance, but the buyers really need, so title says I have to use it as a concession and they have to deduct it, as a concession. But the buyers would really rather have, because it's a VA, they don't have the money in their bank. So they really would want the $2,000 to go towards a carpet allowance, not a concession. Can they make a check to like Carpets RS or something? I don't know. And have that estimate paid, that $2,000 paid? Yeah?
Absolutely. The only way for a buyer to receive any kind of compensation from the seller is in the form of an invoice. So they have to pay an invoice. So if you've got carpet allowance of $2,000 and you're not utilizing closing costs or anything like that, get a bid to do the carpets. So let's say it's $2,200 or $3,000, what have you, and you put it in there, and then all of a sudden, you go to close, there's $3,000 on an invoice and $3,000 in closing costs, pays for the invoice, work is done.
Well,
you just have to have an invoice, like a pre-arranged work order that can be paid through escrow.
okay. Prepaid work order.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Now, even if it's just part of it, as long as there's an estimate to be paid through escrow.
Okay, thank you.
That clearly with escrow that this is going to be paid through escrow. Any remaining balance to be charged to the buyer.
Thank you.
You would need to make sure to get a company that would do paid through escrow, correct?
If they're doing the work beforehand,
Okay.
and the situation she's talking about is having the buyer have the funds afterwards. It's again, same thing, Renee. You have to find out if escrow is good with that, because some escrow companies won't. 90% of them will. It's typical commonplace. And the other side of it is if you have work that needs to be done and they want to pay through escrow, that's a conversation with the contractor. And knowing those people is gold, because there's a lot of times where you got buyers and sellers that don't have the money to do things up front and do it through escrow. I've had $20,000 worth of work pending through escrow.
Yeah, I've had that happen twice now. So, but it's also good to know which companies will do it through escrow rather than upfront.
The only thing I haven't found is a good HVAC company that'll do through escrow.
Picture Rocks does.
I said a good one.
I I didn't say it was a good one. I just said there was one.
We don't want the work done ahead of time. Is that okay? We just want them to have a $2,000. So could I have the sellers pay in advance like a $2,000 to a carpet place in town? And then they could give us an invoice saying that was paid and I could submit that to escrow?
No, what you would do is you would just get an estimate or an invoice from whatever company, and then at the close of escrow, part of the proceeds would be earmarked for that file, would be earmarked for that estimate.
Okay.
It has to have an estimate to earmark too. You can't just like go to flooring and tile, whatever place, and pay, here's $2,000. Someone is going to come in later and get something. There has to be an estimate assigned to that house, assigned to that.
Okay.
And then paid for it.
So if there's an invoice though for that company for that carpet, then where do those $2,000 go at the end of escrow?
It literally sits in an escrow account until payment is released.
So then who contacts
That's a
escrow?
good question. Yeah.
Either agent can, or the company can. Typically, when that happens, the burden falls on the buyer. The burden falls on the buyer.
Okay.
And oftentimes, escrow will literally cut a check in the name of that company and give it to the buyer to release upon completion. Sold a house that needed the electrical system upgraded. The panel, completely garbage. $2,000 work to be done prior to the close of escrow so that the appraisal would go through. During COVID, TEP took forever, and it didn't happen for 2 weeks until after closing. The way we got around it is we just told Title to issue a check. We told the contractor, hey, we got the check in hand from Title escrow, earn his money. As long as you have, the permits in place, a work order timeline, and everything done, we're just going to give the check to the buyer to give to you when everything is done. Is that okay? And they're like, yeah, absolutely. So work was done. Buyer called me up and said, hey, I need that check for the company. I was like, you've got it in your closing paperwork. Oh yeah, you're right. Went and got it, handed it to him. Everything was good to go. But it's just pre-cut in the name of the company. Makes life easy. You got to know how to navigate and negotiate the different terms of things. So I wish everything was ABCD, but sometimes it's not.
So you don't have a good HVAC person that will go through escrow?
I don't. I've used Picture Rocks before, but I've been burned by them. So it's not.
I mean, I'll be honest. Their prices were absurd compared to other ones. So okay. That was what I found, and they charge an absurd service charge. So
HVAC companies in Tucson think that they're God, so they don't have.
I'll contact the one that I know and see if they do anything.
We need to find these things out. That's good information to share with our team. Is hey, this is what we got. This is like Robin needed one that was a pest termite. Did you use budget or did you go with Rigo?
So Rigo asked me to send an email, which I did, but they haven't answered yet. Budget's going out to look and give an estimate tomorrow.
Yeah, because they need work done and paid through escrow.
Yep.
I know that Tucson Exterminating will because my buddy owns it. US Pest will. Rigo Pest will. They do enough business with real estate agents. They understand that sometimes is a need. So finding a company that does a ton of business and a ton of work with agents, you will find a little bit more leniency. I know that Mike's buddy over at Fusion Plumbing is starting up an HVAC wing, but as soon as we talk to Sean, I'm sure that he will open up some kind of element where they can do that. The good thing about that is
they're starting HVAC too?
Yeah, he's trying to get his certifications now. Actually.
I didn't know that. That's really good to know.
Yeah, thanks to Mike, Sean's had a lot of business from us.
Oh yeah.
Which one?
They're the only ones that I call for sewer.
Is that Always Faithful?
No, that's Fusion. Sean Stewart.
Oh, I'm sorry. So I think Always Faithful is also trying to get certified for HVAC and home inspection. Well, they're home inspectors.
Yeah, we're talking service repair.
Got it. Okay.
On this condo that I just closed, the It was a new HVAC. I mean, I hadn't heard of them, but they did a great job. They were very fast and very reasonable, because I personally use Hamstra, and they beat Hamstra's price quite a bit. And the owner's name's Ron. I need to get his last name, but it's Titan. Have you all ever used them?
No, never heard of it.
Okay, but they
Yeah,
did. They did good.
Top of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Did you say Titan?
Yeah, Titan. The owner's name's Ron. I'll have
There's
to
a
get-
Titan. There's a big manufactured home company called Titan. So I was wondering if it was related, but
No, I think this is just called Titan Heating and Cooling or something like that. I'm to look him up.
And oftentimes you can if you've got a company that's kind of newish, bring them into the fold. I mean, there's 56 agents right now in the PC program. Even though we don't see them all the time on the calls, they still listen to your guys' recommendations on the group chat. They still look at the Facebook groups. They still reach out to me and say, hey, I need this. So if we've got a new contact like Titan, for instance, it's, does great work, and we can turn them on to a couple other agents. They may be able to create that avenue that we need. Again, the negotiating aspect. Hey, you start accepting payment out of escrow, I can guarantee you a lot more business.
Yeah, I might call him tomorrow and talk to him, because I told him I was a real estate agent and I would like to keep his number in mind, because they did do a great job and they were very reasonable. So he's like, oh, that would be awesome. So yeah, I'll talk to him about it.
yeah. If anyone needs roofing, and Cantata Roofworks will do out of escrow. They're generally reasonably priced. I've used them a few times, but I will say that their estimate on my aunt's house for the roof was double to triple of what the normal estimates were. So, but they will do out of escrow.
Okay.
So
Roof Solutions.
I've been happy with them until this last week. So I got one absurd offer, and that was it. So
Roof Solutions will do it too, and they're out of Tucson.
And Roofs R Us with Ricardo will also do it. So
Ricardo's awesome. I met him for the first time this week.
He's a talker.
Yes, he is.
Awesome. Oops, we got something to try. Ooh. Sounds like Jennifer just got home.
No, actually, I've been running errands.
Oh,
I
okay.
have today's the last day of my kids' football camp and cheerleading camp, so running all around.
Got to know that one.
Yeah. Okay. So real quick, at like 4:45, I finally got my email from TAR that they are ready to collect my payment. It took 4 days for them to finish setting me up. But I was wondering, because I'm just getting started, and I'm not sure if there's anyone that I could help out if they wanted to mentor me, or if I could. I know Ashley from KLP said that they would have a team integrity reach out to me, but I'm not sure if I should join a team, or if that's just different from getting a mentor.
Let me.
If there is anyone.
I'm going to ask the group right now. Is this not your team?
This is my team. Is this your team?
This
Does
is
anybody
our
want
team.
help? I mean, if you have like an open house anything going on this weekend, I have zero plans this weekend. I just want to go get my feet wet and help out anybody who needs help, because I just want to learn everything and just jump in.
I actually need
I have an open house.
Well, so go ahead.
Who needs help?
Amber needs something.
I have
help.
an open house. I have an open house with Terry Castell on Sunday from 11 to 2. You're more than welcome to hang out with me and, talk to clients if they show up.
I would
when they
love
show up.
to. Yes, when. I would absolutely love to.
Well, first, let me talk to Tracy first, just so he knows.
Okay.
But I will send I don't even know who's talking right now.
Oh, Jennifer Ritchie. Sorry.
Oh, Jennifer. Yeah. Yes. Okay. So write this number down because I have chicken hands.
Shoot, I am totally driving.
Oh, shoot.
Jennifer,
It's
I will
okay.
contact.
Thank you.
Amber,
And then
I will-
I'll send you the details.
We
Of
will
where-
get in touch. I will call you.
Okay,
When I-
that's fine. Amber Harvey, I'm on the web.
Got it. I will find you. I will find you.
The one thing I can tell you, Jen, is that you could join a team if you wanted to. I can assure you, you will not develop as fast as you will in this environment.
Okay.
I could use some help if you wouldn't mind making phone calls. I am getting behind on leads.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And
I don't know if you want.
granted, some of them may just be renters and we'll help them try to find something, but you know, I've got a stack of leads that I really, and I've got several buyers that I'm working like all day long helping them, and now I'm getting behind on my lead generation. I'm getting leads, I can't get back in touch with them. So
That is a damn problem to have. Too many.
I've got over.
Yeah, that's a good problem.
Yeah.
Well, I know, but it's getting on my nerves because the folder's getting larger and larger every day. I'm like,
I
oh
told
my
you we
God.
can't, but right now, when I'm done with
I know that this is right during dinner time, so we got a lot of parents and cultivating. But if you have not done so, download the GroupMe app. We will send you the login, or we'll send you the link to get joined in. I think you should already be on there, Jen. I thought you were.
I'm gonna have to check.
Yeah, GroupMe app. We do a lot of communication. That's our team group chat. There's, like I said, there's 56 of us.
Okay.
Everywhere from Rio Rico to Red Rock, and as you saw, just like that, so many people willing to help. And not that you don't have any guidance at all, because I am not fit to supervise children. I'm a child myself. I like to punch them. But you have the support, like myself, the entire coaching staff, the entire brokerage staff. Everybody is here to help you develop and do so in quick order. So,
Dan, can you send her the email with all of our contact information?
I need to redo that because I have not been keeping up on it because there's been so many moves and changes.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I can chime in on that too. Like, go ahead, take advantage of productivity coaching while you can. I'm on a team now, but it was a unique opportunity that's not normal. So, but if you show up, Dan will help you significantly more too.
Got it. Definitely. Well, I'm here. I'm ready.
Did you guys hear that caveat in there? If you show up.
Yep.
That's my only thing.
That's how I got my first deal, so I can't complain.
if you show up, you will receive. and that's I love that, and you're absolutely right. The number one rule I can teach you in real estate is just show up.
And I still show up.
You do. You're part of coaching.
I'm on a team and I still show up. So like I said, my situation was really unique though. It's completely different than normal. So
okay. Heather burnt herself.
Yeah. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Oh, thanks.
You okay?
Yeah. She just looked at me like, oh.
Oh.
So, but that's the thing is I want you guys to just know that this calls for you every Thursday from 6 to 7 is to create community. It's to create the engagement and conversation. As of right now, like I said, we've got agents like Jason was on here earlier. He's in Illinois right now, but all over the nation will jump in and help you out. So I want to say welcome to Casey. She's new to our program. She's a new agent out in Sierra Vista. Ann is another Sierra Vista agent that came on with us about 6 weeks ago, was kind of lost in the woods, didn't have the direction, and we forgot to give her a flashlight, so bad on us to make sure she knew where to go. But she's auditing and thinking about joining our group as well. But these are all things that you're more than welcome to audit, join in, jump in, be part of the conversation, because you're going to learn the more you show up. Go to the classes. Speaking of classes, business planning clinic coming up on the 10th. That's going to be one of the best 10th. One of the best classes you can be a part of to start your business off right. And I want you to all start thinking, if you haven't already, that you own a real estate business. You are not realtors. You're a business owner that just happens to sell real estate. Your realtor designation just means that you do things right. But the more you start thinking about it as a business, the more you're going to run it like the business and the more profitable you're going to be. I see a lot of realtors in and out of this company. I see a lot of realtors in and out of the market. I see a lot of realtors come and go. What I don't see a lot of is great real estate businesses crumble because they were great real estate businesses. They grow and they build and they become massive. It all starts with showing up and building it with the right foundation.
I got something for you. My sister calls me today and her husband flips homes and she's like, I'm really scared about getting my license and being a realtor. And I'm like, what are you scared about? And she goes, I'm afraid I'm going to not pass the test. And I said, well, it took me 3 times to pass the test. And she goes, it did, And she goes, that must be, it's really hard. Cause I think she thinks I'm smart or something. Yeah. I work hard, but I don't have I'm not a test taker, but you put in the work, you're going to pass. And tomorrow, guess what I'm doing? I'm getting on the phone with the Keller Williams agent out there in Columbus, Ohio, or Westerville. I don't even know if they have a branch out there, but I'm like, I'm going to have whoever I get a hold of, call my sister and say, come to this meeting or, log on to the Zoom call. I don't know what they're doing in Ohio, but I'm like, you are, I wouldn't say wasting money, but wasting money. I mean, her husband's aunt is the realtor for them, but I'm like, why not have your own business? And she goes, no, I don't want a boss. And I said, well, you don't have a boss. I said, you just hang your license. I said, they don't tell you what you can and cannot do with your business. I said, yeah, they keep my butt out of court or, out of hot water because we write contracts here in Arizona. I don't know what Ohio does, but anyway, long story short, I'm like, look, I think you should just at least give it an opportunity or give it a chance to even kind of look on the inside, because being on the outside and being a buyer or seller is not the same. Not the same.
Yeah, once you're in the business, I think you're absolutely right. It's so different. But good for you to push that and get her involved, get her to show up.
That's what I was like thinking. I was like, maybe I need to call somebody that kind of, interview some agents out there that are in it to win it, and are in it full time and not just, oh, I'll do this one or I'll do that one. I want somebody that's fresh and owns it, and owns their business. Cause she's like, well, I don't want a boss. I was like, whoa, time out. Where did you hear that we have bosses? I said, we have brokers that keep our butts out of trouble. I said, other than that,
You have a boss. I'm staff. I have a boss, but you're absolutely right. It's what you want to make of it, right?
Big Dan, you're a boss.
I am a boss. What's up? Boss
Michael Weinig, how are you still in PC? He's killing it.
Well, technically he capped out. We haven't kicked him out yet.
That's what I thought. But
Give him a chance. If he wants to stay opted in, he can. But I'm not going to kick him out.
I didn't think you would, but
I'm still part-time.
Yeah, so why?
I think the best thing is Mike will probably stay in coaching until he leaves me and gets him out.
I was just kidding. It was just
only because I know where he wants to take his business trajectory. And I do the same thing. Like, you guys may not know this. I have 2 coaches myself. I have a real estate coach and I have a coaching coach. And let me tell you, my coaching coach is not nice. She's a very mean person. But she's done good work for you guys. So develop and grow. But I love that. If you got other, I love the conversation about like Amber's sister-in-law or whatever she was. Sister? Yeah, sister. I heard in-law for some reason. Sister in Ohio. She's guiding her towards real estate at Keller Williams. That's going to go in her downline. That's going to create a profit share opportunity for her. The rest, you need to do the same thing. I believe Ann's got one now too. Isn't Casey in your downline?
Casey, yeah.
Well, there you go. Already building downlines. And that's where I want you guys all to, if you got somebody you've done business with, another agent or even a friend that's thinking about real estate, invite them to a call, invite them to a class, invite them to be engaged. We're the only real estate brokerage out there that says, yeah, come join our classes. I don't care what color you wear.
Casey, ask a question about your friend in Nogales. She's shy.
So am I.
No,
But
I've got a friend that wants to start real estate and she lives in Nogales, and I was just curious on if she joined Keller Williams, where would she go in at? Like, what's close to Nogales?
Our market centers are located at River and Campbell, Sierra Vista, and Tinker Verde and Kolb. We don't have a brick and mortar place south. We are going to be putting one together in Salrita, Green Valley area, which would be the one she would go to. I've got agents that live in Mexico.
Wow.
It's the support hub. If you want to come into the office and work every day, great. I can tell you that in 9 months, I have seen 3 of you on this call in the office.
only 3 of us? Who's on here?
Your office is across the hall from mine. All the time.
I've seen you in the office.
You're one of the.
That's why I was trying to figure out who was on here.
That's the thing. So you don't have to be in a brick and mortar place to have the support. Right now, we've got people literally all over the country working. I've got one agent that's in Mexico right now doing deals. He lives in Mexico doing deals. And he only comes this way to pick up stuff when he needs to. So if they're interested in Keller Williams, it's not just the brick and mortar place. It's all about where they want to go and the support they get from it. It's the support you get from Keller Williams International, it's the support you get from us here locally. But it's all about knowing what to get. And I'm trying to do a better job of explaining to you guys where to get the resources and what resources are there for you. Because there's a ton of stuff out there. And I can tell you that there's companies out there that'll sell you swan songs and all the great things that they'll do for you and not deliver. I don't want to be that company. Because there's so many things that I don't do a good job of even telling you we guys have. But it's all about making sure you show up, get invited, get involved. If you don't get the text to this class every Thursday, it's every Thursday from 6 to 7. Have we missed one yet?
No.
Every Thursday from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. is right here. If I'm not on it, someone else is on it. I don't think I've missed one yet.
I don't think you missed a Thursday.
I mean, every Monday from 2:30 to 3:30. We have little classes. I think we've missed 1 or 2 of those from other other classes that were stacked on top of it. But you can go to 1kwsa.com, the website 1kwsa.com, remote access trainings, and you can share that link to your friends. If you got friends at other brokerages and you feel like, you know what, you're struggling, just come join our calls. Come join and be a part of it. Hell, the morning call, we have agents, this morning's call, we had agents from 3 different companies. We had Remax, Realty Execs, and Keller Williams Phoenix. Plus all of you beautiful people. So it's our community. It's all about bringing people involved and getting them engaged. So you got a friend that's in thinking about getting into real estate, bring them to a call, give them my phone number and say, hey, talk to Big Dan. If there's one thing I'm really good at, it's telling people the scary shit about real estate.
Well, also too, my father-in-law, he's had his license for a few years and he keeps just reactivating it. And he's thinking about joining over at Keller Williams now.
Bring him.
And going at it again. So
now is the best time ever because we have so many agents. There are 7,000 agents in the TRMLS. 7,000 agents. It's a scary number, but I'll tell you, less than half of them are active. And by active, I mean they've done 1 deal this year. COVID has created an environment where people are not going to re-up their licenses. Mm-hmm. They're not going to deal with this crap. They're not going to deal with this and that. Everything's changing. It's not the way I used to. I should just as well retire. Mm-hmm. So now is the best time to put your stake in the ground. I'm going to go beat my dogs in a second.
Okay, so do you have suggestions onto if you meet someone looking at Keller Williams, how to talk to them about you being their sponsor?
Let me handle that.
So you get the downline.
All you got.
What if they're not in the Tucson area though?
Then you introduce yourself to the team lead up there.
What if they have multiple team leads?
The market center has one team lead.
Okay, this was somebody in New York. That's why I'm curious.
So one, and that's the thing is like I had Tanya Reddish send me an agent this morning, and it was simple as that. I walked into Kayla's office, said, "Hey, she's ready to onboard. This is a referral from Tanya Reddish." And then when it goes to the part, who would you like to name as your sponsor? What's the initiating moment that you came into Keller Williams? If they don't, we don't coach them on what to say.
Yeah, no, I know, and that's why I wondered because, like I said, I've talked to a few people that are out of state.
We definitely like David Jones. His sponsor is the guy that gave him a Keller Williams magnet.
Yeah. Mine is someone I met at Poco and Mom's. So.
So that's if you got a conversation with agents and other. I've got two in my downline in Denver.
Okay.
From the car business, and all it was is my buddy. I call him Crack Baby Jesus. His name is Justin DeJesus. You get the Jesus part. He was a tiny little energetic kid, but he calls me up. This was 2-3 weeks after I started with Keller Williams. Hey man, I'm thinking about getting in real estate. What advice can you give me? I was all study for your test and talk to everyone. Mind you, I'd been in real estate before Keller Williams, and then like a couple months passed. He goes, "Hey dude, I finally got my license. You know, what brokerage should I talk to?" I was like, "You have to go talk to Keller Williams." And I was like, what's your neighborhood? Where are you living right now? And I found a market center in his neighborhood, close by. I called up the team lead and said, "Hey, I got a friend, just got licensed. He's thinking about Keller Williams. Can you give him a call and invite him to a team meeting?" He invited him to a weekly team meeting, right? We don't put any pomp and circumstance on it. The Wednesday all partners meeting. Some people weren't. All partners, come bring your friends. All partners. You guys are partners. And he went to a team meeting and he calls me up. He goes, "Dude, this place is awesome. Thank you so much." Because it's the excitement that we bring in everything. It's the energy we bring in everything, but just showing up. It doesn't have to be a big elaborate class like, expansion systems or a business planning clinic that's coming up next week or family or Friendsgiving that's coming up on Friday next week. It could be as simple as scripts and tricks in the morning. For those of you who've been on scripts and tricks, it is the most boring thing you'll ever do at 8 o'clock in the morning.
But it gets you going.
I disagree. I'm totally driving to work. It's so much fun.
I disagree too.
It's very informative. And I mean, I used to attend more than I do now because I just enjoy my sleep now. But
I don't know. It makes my morning commute to work much better.
Yeah. Well, I'm working from home right now, so it's kind of like an awkward point for me. So if I get to sleep in, I take advantage of it. But
there's one thing, if we can throw energy as a company, you guys have agents from all over the place to jump that call over something so mundane as scripting in the morning and tricks and mindset. Invite people to that. Hell, invite other agents to that. Katrina, did you even know that was a thing? Literally, as soon as she walks away, I start asking her questions.
No, I didn't know it was a thing.
You can join it every morning, 8 a.m. Link at onekdusa.com. I'll even pay your cover charge.
Okay.
I know the guy running it. He's a pretty cool dude. He's easy to get along with. But these are things it's here to help you out. So bring an agent with them. If you want to see real estate real easy, immerse yourself in it. What we're going to leave on this topic is those of you who speak a foreign language. When you learned your second, like your native tongue, you were born into it, right? When you learn that second language, did you learn it from a book or did you learn it from being buried in that culture?
Immersed in Croatian.
Yep. In Croatian, immersed in.
Yes.
Lisa, I have a spreadsheet of people that speak weird languages and you are on it for that. So
I lived there almost 7 years and
I have like 20 people that speak Spanish and then I have like Croatian and then I have Tess under Hebrew. have a couple various ones there.
You know, in that PC program alone, Arabic, Hebrew, German, Spanish, French, Italian, Higundi, Tagalog, Sudanese, what was that? Swahili, Vietnamese, Korean.
Mm-hmm.
Annyeonghaseyo.
But these are all just, and this is just like, if you look at the diversity within 50 agents. You know, the funny thing is, if I know that, I can help you out. I have gotten calls from our broker, hey, who on your team speaks Arabic? No shit. I was like, Shamam Hashim.
Oh yeah, I have that noted on my spreadsheet too.
And then like 2 weeks later, hey, I need a Vietnamese speaker. I was like, you know, I didn't have anyone. Heather's like, what about Melissa? I was like, oh my God, you're right. Melissa Quach, she speaks Vietnamese. These are things like knowing that, but it's the immersion in those cultures. I love those little tangent, but it's being immersed in the culture you learn. So being immersed in real estate, showing up to classes, showing up to training, showing up to Mastermind, showing up, period, will get you more engagement. You have a higher chance of catching on the more you're around it. This isn't COVID. It's not going to attack you at the dinner table. But the more you show up, the better off you're going to be. And you can do it from your bathroom. I can't tell you how many times I have done scripts and trick with Renee still laying in bed.
I told you I like to sleep in when I get the opportunity.
I have had agents brushing their teeth on the morning call. I've had agents, getting their kids out. Hell, this morning, I think Ann slapped her dog, or was it your cat? I'm kidding.
I didn't slap him. I loved him.
But this is what happens. This is life, guys. We are living life together, and I'm so happy to be a part of your guys' families as you are mine, because it's all about the better we treat each other and learn from each other. We can learn from each other's experiences. We can learn from each other's mistakes, and we grow and not do it again. But the best thing about it is if you get stuck, you have somebody to turn to.
Helps build our confidence. I know that.
God, Teresa, when we first met, you'd barely pick up the phone. Now you have too many.
I answer too many calls these days. So
don't talk to me about answering too many calls, Renee. Take my phone.
No, I'm getting too many BS calls. That's my problem. Automated phone systems.
Yeah, we want you to advance, and if you feel like you got somebody who's thinking about real estate, invite them to it. If there's a class that you see on the schedule, go to it. Don't ever think that I'm not ready for it, or hey, that's not for me, or I'm not NPC. I don't care. Join the class. Get in there. Be part of the communities, like all the committees for ALC. Go to your career development, your tech committees, your culture committees. Go to the ALC meetings and sit there and watch.
I'm on tech.
Yeah. Learn as much as you can, because you're going to be able to utilize it to help somebody at a higher level. Trust me, the more you know, the more valuable you are, the more valuable you are, the more money you make, the more people you can help. Including yourself. Because like the airline pilots tell us, put your mask on first. You have to help yourself before you can help others. So this is you helping yourself. Show up, participate, carry on with it. That's all I can ask. Because one of our bold laws is how you participate here is how you're going to participate in the real world. How you're going to participate here, which means if you're going to hide in this call, the few of you that have your cameras off, I know, if you're going to hide on this call, you're probably going to hide in real estate.
My camera's not working. Sorry.
It was earlier. We saw you on the back patio.
Yeah, yours works 90% of the time.
My phone died. Now I'm on my laptop and I'm having issues. But
that's the thing. Remember, if you're going to hide in a class, you're going to hide in these environments, you're going to hide in real estate. I have a friend of mine from Canada that just reached out to me to help me compete in listing against April Richards, one of our property managers. I'm all, no, April's a good person. You're in good hands. Like, I'm good. But that's the thing, is how you participate here is how you participate anywhere. Get engaged, be bold, make mistakes. Make them in the comfort and ease of a practice environment so you don't do that in real play. I would much rather you guys screw up a script further than when it actually counts on D-Day when they're ready to sign their paperwork. Say something stupid so I can help you out and we can all laugh together than saying it in front of a client. Trust me, I say some pretty dumb things. You guys have all seen my social media. I can't spell for shit. I can't even spell Reese's right.
So I just experienced something that made me feel really uncomfortable and I didn't know what to do. So I showed a property to a client and they knew that there was another property coming up. It's a coming soon property. And so we wanted to drive by it just to kind of see where it was at and, you know, see it's on an acre, but they wanted to kind of see where the neighbors are because just because it's an acre doesn't mean it's far away from your neighbor, right? Well, the seller pulls up because the neighbor called the seller saying that basically there's somebody at the property. And we weren't doing anything wrong, but I felt like we were doing something wrong. And I already talked to the listing agent and they already knew that we couldn't see the property until the 12th. So what do you do in that situation? Because I just kind of was like diffusing talk about anything contract specific.
I'd make a friend with the seller and have him give me all the information he can.
Would you? See, I didn't know what to do in that situation.
We can script around that in the morning, but I love it. Ms. Amber, if a seller shows up and I'm there, I'm going to make a friend.
Well, my clients made a friend with the seller.
What was that?
Yep. No, I find out their interests, find out anything about them because you would be surprised. Like I won a deal because they found out they were both from Michigan. Somebody else had a comparable offer. We won because they found out that they were from Michigan. So
hell, Mike won a deal for like $45 less for the client because they had a relationship. Relationships equal real estate. So if you have the opportunity to meet the seller and make a friend, do it. As long as you don't talk shit about the other client or the other agent and you're not trying to put in a bad negotiating position and break ethics, there is nothing wrong with you making a friend.
Oh, that makes me feel so much better because both my client and him and his buddy that he had there with him, they really connected and I learned his life story. In that conversation. However, I was just like, what do I do? And that's why I was like, because I didn't want to
let them talk. Okay.
Well, they talked. I just was
if
trying
they're
to
talking,
make it sure it wasn't
consider that an advantage.
Contract specific though.
Contract specific, you guys know I like to be very black and white. Very black and white. Don't get yourself in the gray, but situations like that, dance a little bit. Hey, Mr. Seller, hey. What are you looking for? Yeah, I know you can't tell me, but I'm just trying to see if we can make something work out and make this as easy as possible for you. The more information you get, the better off your possibility of winning is. Like I talk about always, give your offer the best chance of survival, the best chance to win. And if it happens to be that you guys are best friends because y'all sat out there and had a beer on the tailgate, so be it. If you find out that he and him went to school together and they both beat up the same guy or they ran on track, so be it. Any relationship we can forge creates a better engagement. Real estate equals relationship.
Okay. That's good to know. So now my buyers want to put an offer on it and it is a coming soon. So how do I do that?
No different than any other offer. Just submit it.
Just submit it? Okay.
Yeah,
I just want to make sure that I'm not
listing agent, but still just submit it like normal offer.
Okay. All right, cool. I just didn't know if I had to wait until it goes live.
Not at all. Not at all.
Ooh, that makes my day right there.
I'm glad I could help. All right. Well, I'm going to cut you guys loose. It is 7:09. It is almost 7:10 on this Thursday night. I appreciate you all for joining and hanging out. Hopefully we've added some value to your day. If you want some more of this goodness, come on back. But if you want to talk about some scripts and tricks tomorrow morning, 8 a.m., find the links at 1kwsa.com. Oh, look, it's Amber's puppy. And if you guys want to share your puppies and pets on these calls, I'm okay with it because you guys all know Moose likes to come say hi. Come here, Moose.
Mine's sleeping. behind.
Yeah, my cats love intruding. So
There's mine.
Can you see mine?
All right.
Oh
Here's a
my
picture
gosh,
of mine.
it's so cute.
Here, Tilly.
say, are Robin's cats available?
Here, Tilly.
You guys, I don't think you've met Chicago.
No,
No.
that one's off.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
That's Heather's doggy.
Aw.
Look at my laptop. All right, guys. Well, thank you for sharing your pets. This was the call right here. This is all we needed. We needed pets in our life. Some fur babies.
Oh yeah, I love my babies.
Well, and this really does help because so many of us work from home and this is a team.
Mm-hmm.
It really means a lot.
Huh? You guys are a family for me. I'm here to. Oh, it's a puppies. I can't even tell Mike's dogs apart. They're like my twin nephews. I've known them.
They do look a lot alike, though.
All right, guys, I gotta go. I gotta feed my children. I'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.
One of my dogs is a wolf, and the other one's a retard. I can tell them apart. I love it. Awesome, guys. Well, have a wonderful evening. I'll talk to you in the morning. You guys enjoy yourselves, enjoy your family, enjoy your dinners. Hopefully, you're having some good, tasty food. And we'll talk again soon.
Good night.
See you in the morning.